Welcome to What's Up with DJ. Today we're making instant pot roast with potatoes and carrots. And let's get started. Here are some of the supplies that you're going to be using. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and please click onto the bell symbol so that you can be part of the conversation. And so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with some carrots, and we're going to cut these into some nice big chunks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these into a foil package. I'm not going to cook these directly in the fluid because veggies do get mushy. The meat needs to be cooked, a little bit longer, so I'm going to protect these in foil. So just take you a little foil, make you cut up your veggies, and we're going to make little foil packets to insert. And we'll be able to put those right inside, right on top of the roast beef while it's cooking. If you put them in with the beef and you cook them for an hour, they're just going to be mush. You can also just cook the beef first and then put in the veggies, a little bit before the meat's done. Either way, whatever works best for you. This is how I'm doing it this time. I do it different times, different ways each time, but this way turns out pretty good. So there's the little carrot packet. Now we're going to cut some celery. And that's 4 stalks of celery. That's not going to go in foil. The little baby potatoes, that's the ones I used, and I put those in a foil pack. Now let's do our onion. I did 2 onion, but you can just do 1 if you prefer just 1. And you're going to do those in bigger chunks. Anytime you're going to do something in a pressure cooker, it's going to be a bigger chunk of veggies. Now let's prepare our roast beef with seasoning. And we're going to put some of the pink Himalayan black pepper, garlic seasoning on that. Now we're going to set the pressure cooker to the saute mode on high or more. So it will be the hottest so that we can sear the meat. You're going to do, they usually have less, normal, or more. Those are the levels of heat and hotness. Once it says hot, we added in our oil. And we're going to put in our meat and we're going to sear that. Give it a nice sear. It's not necessary, but you can just put it in without searing it. But if you do sear your meat off, it does give it more flavor. It does make it cook a little better with more flavor and look a little better. So what I'm going to do is put seasoning salt on the other side that I didn't get. And you're going to want to sear your meat for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side to get a nice brown seared crust on the meat. And you're going to want to just move it around because it's going to want to tend to stick. And that's just normal for meat, even though you have oil in there. So just kind of move it around every once in a while. Now I'm trying to turn it over. You can see it's got a nice brown seared one side. Now we're going to do the other side. So like I said, about 4 to 5 minutes for a nice good sear. Move it around a bit. Now it's been about time, so I'm going to take it out, set it off to the side. Next, I'm going to be putting in my my onion and my celery. While it's still on saute mode, you're going to kind of turn this around a bit. You wanted to deglaze the bottom of that pan because all those little stuck on meat bits that are on the bottom. You need to get those up before you start pressure cooking, or you could get a burn error code. And the onions are going to give off some fluid, and it'll make it a little easier. And then you're also going to put in your broth now, and you're going to put in your garlic. I didn't show it, but you put in your garlic when you put in the onions to saute them. So I'm just scraping the bottom, and like I said, deglazing is what they call it, the bottom of the pan. You want to get all those little meat bits that stuck while you were searing the meat. You want it to be pretty, pretty gone on the bottom where it feels smooth. And I just put in an extra seasoning pack. It's not necessary, but I just wanted to add a little bit extra seasoning. Excuse me. So that's one of the seasoning, the McCormick. I'm going to put 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. Following a different recipe this time. I do pot roast, all different types of ones. This one called for balsamic. It helps to tenderize, work as a tenderizer for the meat. So I'm doing 1/4 cup. Any vinegar, especially balsamic, is a natural tenderizer for meat. Like I said, I'm doing a different recipe than normal. I kind of alternate and do kind of different versions to try. This one called for 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. I know in cooking a lot of recipes call for Dijon mustard. It adds a kind of a little bit of tang, a little bit of flavor. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. And then next I'm going to get my thyme, and I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of thyme. Everybody's buying this up at the store. It was very hard for me to get thyme. I'm getting 2 teaspoons of parsley. And we're going to give that a nice stir and get it all mixed up. If you hear a snoring sound, it's my dog asleep behind me, Sammy. It's kind of snoring a little bit. Okay, I'm going to throw in a bay leaf. That always reminds me of my mom. When I was little, I said, "Mom, why are you putting leaves in our food?" I thought she was going in the backyard and just getting any old leaf. So I used to be like, okay, whatever. So stir that in, and like I said, I'm just making sure there's nothing stuck to the bottom. I have this still on saute mode, but on low saute mode, just so it can heat up. Now we're going to stick the meat right in the middle. We're going to take our potato packet, put that right on the top. Take our carrot packet, put it off to the side. They'll cook and they'll steam. They'll get a little bit of juice in there, but won't be overwhelmed with juice while they're cooking, so they won't mush up. And trying to get the lid on here. Then we'll put the lid on. And then we are going to set this on pressure cook. Well, I'm showing you up here that the valve, it automatically shuts or seals when you close the lid. Now we're going to set it to pressure cook, and we're going to set it for 1 hour. On some of the models it will say manual instead of pressure cook. So if yours says manual, just do manual and do 1 hour. It will flip to on while it's coming to full pressure. And now I'm releasing the pressure because it has cooked for its full time. If you want to cook for an hour, you want to do a natural release of 15 minutes before you release the pressure, by the way. That helps to finish it and tenderize it more. So it's venting now, and then here comes Sammy. Check out what's going on because he smells it. I'm going to take off the lid. It's going to be very hot. I'm going to attempt to take out these foil packets. I was having a little bit, you know, they were very hot and the steam was coming off, so it was kind of hot. I should have put on like a mitt or something, but I was determined to get it. And we're going to pull out the big pouch of potatoes, the little baby potatoes. You can also cut up potatoes and put them in there. I just got a little package of the baby potatoes. You can also cut them, you know, if they're too big, you're going to want to cut them at least in half or in fourths, you know, so they're not too big. I'm going to take out the meat. Put it to the side. Give it a stir up. We're going to get those carrots and we're going to dump those back into our broth and our gravy. And we're going to do the same with the potatoes. I was trying to poke it to show you that it was soft, but all I was going to do is knock it out of my tongs. So I poked one here to show you that it is tender. And then you just want to get them all put in there. And like I said, they were perfect. They were already steamed up. They had a little bit of juice that had escaped into the packages, so they were very good. And that's 1 pound of baby potatoes, by the way. It's a little packet. It comes in, it's about just a tiny bit over a pound. So it was the perfect amount. I'm going to stir that up. You got to get that leaf out of there. The bay leaf. And then we're going to make a cornstarch slurry to thicken up our gravy broth. When you do a cornstarch slurry, you're just going to use equal amounts of cornstarch to equal amounts of water. What I'm doing is setting it on to saute because you're going to want to bring it to a bubble, to a low boil. So I have it on normal saute. The time you set it on doesn't really matter because you're only going to do it according to how long you think anyway. You're just going to let it bubble for a while so that your broth can get thickened up with the slurry. So I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of cornstarch into a little bowl. And this doesn't have any taste. Cornstarch just helps as a thickening type mechanism. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons of water to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. And we're going to stir that up until it's smooth. It's going to feel hard to stir at first, but it does get easier as you stir it. And as you can see, I have it on saute, so you can see a few little bubbles starting to bubble in the pot. There's the slurry all mixed up. Let it start to bubble a little bit more before we put it in. And now we're going to dump that in. And you're going to want to stir that up and mix it up. Stir it frequently. And as it bubbles and simmers, it will start getting, thicker. And then we're going to start getting our meat prepared. I was kind of showing you there on the end that it's so tender it just, pulls apart. Like I said, when you cook your meat, you're going to do it for an hour, but you're not going to release your steam pressure for 15 minutes past the hour. You're going to let it natural release, meaning come down for 15 minutes by itself without releasing the pressure. After 15 minutes, then you can press the button and release the rest of the pressure. That helps to tenderize it more. And you're just going to put your meat back in with your potatoes and carrots and gravy. I got a knife and decided to start making some slices. And if you slice it, you're going to want to slice it against the grain. And it was nice and tender. It was easy to slice. I'm just doing small slices. And as you can see, the simmer's got a nice bubble going to it in the pot now. The best roast you can use, there's all different ones. This one is a rump roast. Chuck roasts are good. Typically, you don't have to buy a real expensive cut of meat because of slow cooking it or pressure cooking it. When you do them in like crock pots or in pressure cookers, you're helping to tenderize that meat, whether it's a good cut or not. So we got all the meat in there, and we're going to stir it around, mix it all up. Let it go for a few seconds longer. And then I think it's pretty much done. Here's some pictures of it and how it thickened up. And there's Sammy being nosy. Some more pictures of it close up. Doesn't it look good? It smelled so good. Really good. And here he is waiting because he always gets his sample, so he's waiting patiently like a good boy. And here's the finished product. Very good. It was a very hearty meal. Very smells wonderful. A nice fall meal, really any time of year meal. And I thank you for watching the video. I hope that you'll try and make this. Here's Sammy coming to get his sample, as he always gets. He's such a good boy. I love him. So I thank you for watching this. I hope you'll subscribe and like my video, my channel. And you guys have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.